West for a variety of different reasons. Ended up in California for about 28 years, um, and was migrating back to Connecticut. And I'm in Colorado Springs right now on a work project, but eventually we'll be back on the East Coast. I'm an East Coast gal. I was raised in a very traditional household. I had a stay-at-home mom and a dad who preferred mom stay at home. I'm I'm the oldest of one sister and three brothers. And for, I think, through age 8 through third grade, we all lived, my third grade, we all lived in a extended family. So many of, especially maybe from the East Coast, know that extended family was parents, siblings, grandparents, aunts, great aunts. There was an uncle in there at one point or another. So that was all happening. And but it was a household of primarily women. So from an early age, I gained a sense of being a nurturer because I was surrounded by women, not that men don't nurture, but also because I'm the oldest of three brothers and a sister. So that gave me I will say, the emotional impetus to want to get into the field of counseling, of psychology. And up until 2005, I was a counseling psychologist, a psychotherapist. I made the switch in 2005, around there, because I decided that the client should take responsibility. Not that they wouldn't, as well, was doing psychotherapy, but the client should take responsibility for them. And it's all of our responsibilities. And it's not just when life is going really well, the joyful part of it, but it's also the adversity, the struggle, the challenges, which I'm no stranger to. So I segued from counseling and psychotherapy to I'm a lifestyle empowerment alchemist, coach, author, and speaker. And I say alchemist, not alchemy is the precursor to chemistry, and I am not a left brain person. I think I took environmental science versus a chemistry course when it was required. And I literally help people help themselves to take their joys, their struggles, their sorrows, and make it work for them rather than anything less. So that's a brief introduction to me. I'll leave it in
I
your
want
hands.
absolutely. I wonder sometimes if that people will only focus on elevating their lives through joy, and then they will maybe de-evaluate their life through sorrow. And the example I give is that I can see that maybe doing this kind of job or being this type of person, I can see the joy at the end of the tunnel. So even though the joy hasn't happened yet, I'm feeling it because I'm imagining it. Now, on the flip side, that will push me to maybe progress and go further. But now if I experience sorrow in something, let's say I had an opportunity to get a job, but I wasn't chosen. Now I feel sorrow for it. So when the next job comes up, I'm hesitant. Or if
Right.
I'm divorced and it ended in a way that, you know what? I was the one that was at more fault than the other person. Now I'm hesitant to get back into that type of situation. Have you seen that in some of the people that you work with, or maybe in your own life?
We'll start with my own life. Let's you made an interesting analogy with the tunnel, because I always, whether I'm speaking to an audience or I'm speaking to a client or group coaching, um, that whatever tunnel one happens to be traveling down right through, the light at the end of it need not necessarily be a train. And you made that point. That light is the guidance, it's the blueprint, it's the inspiration to keep moving forward and to claim your blessings. Um, I have plenty of credentials in the psychology field, but I've had some, not, I call it the not so good stuff, the good and the not so good stuff that I have been through. And I've come out on the other side of it. I mean, the really good side of it, because I've chosen to take the gift and the blessing from it. And that's really my message, that messes that we all are in, we can turn them into a message for others, because we are not alone, no matter what we're going through. Some of the things that I have been through, that not so good stuff, I call it, but I found a gift and blessing in all of it, was incarceration in a women's federal prison camp, cancer, and divorce, including the financial ruin of divorce, several actually. So I hear what you're saying, and those are my top credentials that I can really, really resonate when someone comes to me and I said this and says this not so good stuff is happening in my life. You know, how do I ever find the gift and the blessing in it? Two important things that I live by, and I take responsibility. Everything that happened that was not so good in my life, the failures, quote unquote, the mistakes, they're really not. I called them forward. And I believe we all call it forward. We call it forward to learn some lessons and to be the best version of ourselves. And people say, well, gee, you seem to bounce back from all this not so good stuff. And I said, no, I don't bounce back. I bounce forward. And I literally do, because I've learned gifts and blessings. And you were talking about, well, if you didn't get the job, if you didn't, you're hesitant to go into another relationship. What that may be teaching someone is that don't get into the pattern that you're in. There's two emotions, fear and love. If you're operating from fear, starts right here in the heart space, you create a thought, and then you create your external world. So I'll use the incidence of divorce. Okay, so I thank my partners, my spouses, for coming into my life, even though it was a travesty. It was a travesty because I needed to learn certain things so I don't repeat those patterns. And it was about 2 years ago that I decided I'm going to change the brand. My company has helped me, Rhonda, now. But I changed my brand to fix your reflection first and live your best life ever. And I literally look in the mirror, and a lot of people can't. They can't look in the mirror. They don't like whom they see. They don't like what they see. And that's the first step. Right now, I'm ready for the best relationship ever. Am I looking? Am I rushing? No, because I want to look in the mirror. When I look in my mirror, I see the love of my life. And that is what I'm advocating for others. Start loving yourself by fixing your reflection first. I mean, be gentle with yourself, care for yourself, love yourself, like yourself. Liking is sometimes more important than showing love to yourself, because that is the type of person, that is the type of situation, partnership you're going to create, not only in romantic love, in every area of your life. I mean, we're partners with ourselves, we're partners with our families, our kids, business relationships, colleagues. If you can look in your mirror and see the love of your life, you will exude this thing of all of us in the transformation business. I'm not talking to a stranger about that. Us in the transformation business, we start vibing in high directions. We start resonating. Our radio is tuned in to a high frequency rather than a low frequency. You know, with the things that I named, that not so good stuff, that turned out to be really good stuff and very informational for me, and inspiring to me, I didn't always look in my mirror and see the love of my life. I saw a downtrodden